Children, please come join me up here this morning on the front steps. Good job, Luke. Show her how it's done. Come on, Henry. Good morning. How many of you ever have dreams? Do you remember what you dream about? Nah, exactly, not exactly. It's perfect way to say it. I want to tell you a story about a guy who had a dream. His name was Jacob. You know anybody named Jacob? You do? Yeah, there are some Jacobs around. This Jacob had another name. He gets another name a little bit later in his story. It's called Israel. If you're wondering why or how or what that might mean, talk to me later. I'll be at the cookie table, okay? Jacob was wandering around in the desert. His brother was mad at him. His father didn't know what to do with him. And so he was wandering around and he got tired. It got kind of dark. And what do you do when it gets dark? Go to sleep, right? After you watch some YouTube and Netflix or whatever it is that I watch. Okay. And he looked around in the middle of the desert for something to put his head on, and all he could find was, what's this? A rock, right? A little bit like Charlie Brown on Halloween. He just kept getting a rock. And Jacob used the rock for a pillow. That's right, sweetie. And I don't know about you, but when I'm not sleeping that well, that's when I dream the most. So Jacob was sleeping with his head on this rock. I don't know if he was snoring or not. Do you think I snore, by the way?
Yes, definitely.
That's what people tell me, but I don't believe it. All right? Jacob dreamed about this. What is this? No. What's this right here? A step. This is a step ladder. Now, I don't think he dreamed about a step ladder, but I didn't have a big ladder to bring in here today. Jacob dreamed about a ladder, but that ladder was so tall, guess where it went? All the way up to space, right? Or heaven, right? And that's even farther. And Jacob saw, as he dreamed about this ladder, guess who was on the ladder? Nope. Always a good answer in a children's sermon, Jesus, but that's not it. Nope. How about messengers of God? What do we call them? Angels, exactly right. And they were going up and down, kind of like an escalator at the store, at the department store. They were going up and down. I don't know what they were doing, and Jacob didn't know what they were doing. But then all of a sudden in his dream, Jacob saw God at the top of the stairway. And what do you think God said? Jacob, come on up. Well, Jacob wasn't quite ready to go up to heaven yet. But God said, I promise to love you all of your life, just like we promised to Henry, just like God has already promised Henry. And at the top of the stairway, God said, I'm going to be with you wherever you go, so don't worry, just be yourself. And what I wanted to say about this story to you guys is that sometimes we can feel God and meet God and find God, and God can find us when we're sleeping on a rock. It is weird, yeah. That's what we call a metaphor, right? It just means, did you ever have a bad day in school or at home? You have tons of bad days. That's exactly right. That's keeping it real, right? And that's what the Bible tells us. That's when God finds us most. When we're sleeping on a rock, when things aren't quite like we'd like them to be, when we're kind of mad at our brother or our sister or our dad or whatever it is. That's when God loves us most. Or is it? I think God loves us most all the time. I think that's when we're ready to receive that love. So, if you ever go to sleep with your head on a rock, get ready for some wild dreams. But mostly, when you're having a bad day or when you're having a good day, expect God to find you like God found Jacob, and to say the same thing that we just said to Henry and that God just said to Jacob, which is, you matter to me, I love you, and I'm going to be with you for the rest of your life, so you know how much I love you. All right? How many of you are going to go home and find a rock and sleep on it tonight because of this inspiring children's sermon? Anybody? All right. I want you to tell me how it goes, okay? But before that, let's do a repeat after me prayer. Dear God, thank you for stairs and for rocks and for mixing them all together and for loving us and finding us in that mess. We love you too. Amen. Okay, kids, thanks very much. You can go to Sunday school now. Good job.